I wasn't expecting this country to be as beautiful as I think it is. I'm really amazed by everything, I would say. Before coming here, I was kind of insecure about what I would find or how the people would be. The alphabet is different, the language, of course, and the culture. So for me, it has been a very interesting experience being in this country.
"350 concerts in 33 countries of the world. This is an impressive result of the musical tour of the Orchestra of the Americas for 17 years since the inauguration performance. This largest international music project has already won the hearts of millions of viewers around the world. For the first time this year, the musicians did not limit themselves to the countries of their home continent and made a visit to Ukraine as a part of the European tour.
This added dimension of cross-cultural connection within the orchestra between Ukraine and the Americas has been fantastic to see. The sharing of languages, the sharing of experiences, the sharing of values, and most importantly, the sharing of artistic excellence and music. There was a huge amount of excitement for Ukraine. I think that for the orchestra, there was a huge anticipation of what would Ukraine be like, what would they experience. And for us to have had such a positive experience in Lviv, our first two concerts working with the Lviv Philharmonic Society and presenting in this beautiful city was the best start we could have asked for. So we're thrilled to be here. We're now in the midpoint of our project in Ukraine, here in Kiev, and we're looking forward to some spectacular concerts still to come in Odessa.
For many musicians, participation in this orchestra is the dream of a lifetime. After all, the best masters of the music world turn out to be conductors every time, and the world's tenor, Plácido Domingo, himself acts as the art advisor.
This orchestra was founded in 2002 as a platform to connect all of the Americas, North and South, and to bring them together in a program that would allow each of them to share their culture, but most importantly to demonstrate the talent of their young people in a hemispheric orchestra. The orchestra was founded by a collection of distinguished individuals and institutions, artistically by our artistic advisor Plácido Domingo, institutionally by the Organization of American States and the New England Conservatory, and also by our chairman, Hilda Ochoa Brillenberg, who helped to build the private network of individuals that have brought this orchestra into existence and allow it to continue to operate year after year. In the last 17 years, this orchestra has toured the entire world, including the Americas, Europe, and Asia, and this tour in 2018 is our first time in Ukraine.
Each year, the jury members handle more than 5,000 applications, but no more than 80 contestants are accepted.
The musicians that take part on the orchestra are the best of their countries. So the 4 musicians that we have here from Peru, for example, they are the best Peruvians, the best young Peruvian musicians in Peru. So that brings a level of excellence to the orchestra that is amazing.
Ukrainian musicians also took part in Eurotour 2018.
For the first time this year, we've opened scholarships thanks to the support of the U.S. Embassy for Ukrainian musicians, in addition to a few other European musicians that are representing the countries where we're touring, to be part of this year's orchestra. So they have trained with us in Poland, and they'll be part of this entire tour all the way through the end in Edinburgh. They were recruited through an open audition process, but we're also here to try to connect Ukraine to the Americas and to create platforms, not only institutionally, but between every individual who takes part in this project, because it's human networks that will create opportunities. And we want to see Ukrainian musicians studying in the Americas, working in the Americas, and collaborating across borders.
The average age of the musicians is 24. Working in the orchestra gives an opportunity not only to change one's own life, but also to implement various social initiatives.
A big part of what we try to do are create opportunities, both opportunities for the Americas in the sense of, on the one hand, one of the most important stories in music over the last 50 years has been the growth of music as a vehicle for social inclusion in the Americas. Many of our musicians come from backgrounds where they have no resources, but through music they've been able to find a platform to achieve in life. What we're trying to do is share this idea of music as a vehicle for social inclusion with Europe and with the rest of the world. And so we're here sharing this message with Ukraine.
I've seen how music really transforms people. I know that it sounds like a cliche, that music transforms lives, but within this orchestra, we get to see really how music can transform lives. Carlos Miguel Prieto, our music director, he's also the director of the Symphonic National Orchestra in Mexico and the Symphonic of Louisiana in the United States. He says that every time that he comes to the tour during the summer, he goes back home revitalized with a lot of energy, because you get to be sharing 1 month with people that really enjoy music. That's their passion, that's not their job.
American-Ukrainian conductor Hobart Earl was invited to participate in the European tour.
Цей оркестр існує вже 17 років.
This orchestra has been around for 17 years. Usually they perform on the American continent.
Історія, як вони роблять свою резиденц в європейський континент.
This is the second time in history when they visited European countries. We played in Poland at the Krzysztof Penderecki Music Center in Lusławice, and then we were in Warsaw, Lviv, and now we're in Kiev, then Odessa, Germany, and the Edinburgh Festival. This is an absolutely European tour. They do it not every year. The orchestra arrived in Ukraine for the first time. I have been working in Ukraine for many years, and I'm very pleased that it is so interesting for them to be for the first time in Ukraine. They saw Lviv, now they will see Kiev and then Odessa. This is an absolutely new country and a new look at the land. Hobart Earl was born in Venezuela and in the early years began to try himself as a conductor. After graduating from the Faculty of Music at Princeton University, he worked for many years in Vienna, and in 1991 he moved to Odessa. In Odessa we play a lot of Ukrainian music with the National Symphony Orchestra. This is not only the compositions of the 3S, Skorik, Stankovich, Silvestra, but also the Odessa composers, Carmela Tsepkolenko, for example, and many others. In 1994, I conducted Skorik's Carpathian concert in Great Britain, and then Mykola Kolesa's first symphony in the United States. I remember Mykola Kolesa very well. First we spoke in German with him. He was fluent in that language. God rest his soul. He was a great patriarch of Ukrainian music. We recorded CDs with the music of Skorik and Stankovich. Only recently, I and the Odessa Symphony Orchestra played Requiem by Valentin Silvestrev. It was its first performance in this city. This year, this great composer turned 80 years old, and in honor of the anniversary, we played it for the entire season. In the future, we want to communicate more with young Ukrainian composers, and we are doing this. But I think we need to make an even greater emphasis on the young generations. As part of the European tour, musicians from the Americas worked with Ukrainian orchestras in the Lviv Philharmonic, as well as in Odessa. In addition to masterpieces of classical music, the virtuosos performed works by Latin American composers.
We play so different kind of repertoire. I think what I really enjoyed the most was one of the concerts in Lviv, where we played with the Philharmonic from there, and we had to play together with them, and we played Brahms piano concerto with some of them. I mean, it was just such a interesting experience, it's such a learning experience, because we haven't played before that. We just had like one rehearsal, but it just blended so good, like the sound and everything. So it was very thrilling, and we were all very present in the moment, and I think it was a great experience.
When we gave the first concert, it was like heartwarming to receive that kind of experience, to have the applause of the public. This is my first time in Ukraine, and it's a very beautiful place, a very beautiful country. Since the beginning, when we crossed the country, it was completely amazing to see all the flowers and what they told us about the flag. We learned that it's because of the sunflowers and the sky. It's beautiful.
Latin American notes have come in handy at the Kyiv concert, which took place just before the celebration of the Peruvian Independence Day. On the occasion of the holiday, the diplomatic mission of Peru in Ukraine visited the Kyiv Opera House.
De que estamos cerca del bicentenario.
This year, on July 28th, we celebrated the 197th anniversary of the independence of the Republic of Peru. Today, there was a concert of the Orchestra of the Americas, where 4 Peruvian musicians played. One of them is a solo violin.
Y uno de ellos es el solista de violín. Estos peruanos han sido
They were selected as the best musicians of Peru and excellent performers of classical music.
Y que interpretan magníficamente la música clásica. Como no, por supuesto, me encanta la música clásica.
I really like classical music, and I am glad that thanks to the initiative of the orchestra, it will sound in an excellent performance in many significant cities in Europe.
Varias ciudades importantes de Ucrania. Esta presentación, puesto que es...
This concert was the perfect start to the festive initiatives on the occasion of the celebration of the Peruvian Independence Day.
Y donde pues vamos a tener y poder confraternizar con estos músicos de América Latina.
Juan Olivas noted that such international initiatives contribute to bilateral cooperation between Peru and Ukraine.
La cooperación cultural es muy importante.
Cultural connections between our countries are very important.
Para resaltar, por ejemplo, la presentación.
Last year, in the Museum of the Kyiv-Pечерsk Lavra, we held an exhibition of the unique works of the historian Felipe Guamán Poma de Ayala. Today's concert is also an excellent example of cooperation between our virtuosos and international cooperation in general.
Para conocer música,
to understand music, there's no need to master foreign languages, because music is a universal language for all peoples.
Entender y hay gente que sin tener audición puede interpretar lo que es y la forma como tocan un instrumento, ¿no? Por ejemplo.